Good morning, everyone. So I'm actually going to start off by actually turning it over to the crowd and inviting you to think about the last time we had a Vision Sunday. So, okay, if you weren't aware, today is another Vision Sunday, okay? It's one of those days where we talk a little bit about tribal messiahship so people get an understanding of what this whole thing is about, and to really get to the point that it's really just about how we intentionally love others. And so if you remember last month, I actually had us stand up and say a little pledge, an intentional loving pledge for the month of October. Some of you are looking at me like, oh no. And some of you are looking at me with glazed eyes like, I have no idea what she's talking about. So actually, I wanted to ask Pastor Abe to grab this mic just to open it up to the floor to see if anybody has been practicing intentional loving during this month of October. And I know this month isn't over yet, but we're more than halfway through. Giving to people, right? Or even an active listening?
I called my mother in New Zealand. That doesn't sound like a big deal, but my mother can't hear well, so it's really arduous to call her on the phone. And I can't Skype because her computer skills are very limited and her computer never seems to work. But anyway, we had a really lovely talk on the phone, and then I called my next younger sister afterwards, and we had a really nice sharing as well. So I did that purposely after your sermon. That jogged me that I have to call my mother. You know, I don't call her enough because it's so difficult because of the hearing problem. Yeah. And so even despite the hearing problem, we had a really good meeting of hearts.
Wow, thank you very much. Great, let's give her a round of applause. Somebody else?
So last week I decided to give about 5 hours of my time to two friends of mine who are in the process of writing a book about health, spiritual growth and health. And I was with them until 8 o'clock at night, and I shared my landmark skills and worked out on a project, and they were so incredibly grateful. I came home, I had major migraines, but I was so glad to be able to do something for others that was significant and meaningful, and thank you for inspiring us.
Great, thank you. And actually, Mr. Kondo had one comment up here.
I think, I don't have love, That's why I cannot love someone by myself. But when faced to other people, your conscience speak to yourself, oh, I must do good thing to everybody. And then, I want to suggest like this time, trial messiahship, maybe second generation was, people, nice family, you have tribe or family, something. But old members, like my family, you don't need to come back because you choose something different way, and then which we cannot agree. That's why, and then you can see when you love
Mr. Kondo, sorry. Do you have an experience you wanted to share about intentional loving?
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
just want to take a short time to talk about that.
Yeah, we are brothers and sisters. That's whatever someone speaks stupid things, and then I can feel something, Now so much everything official, We are brothers and sisters, If we can talk all the time, this is most important thing, We don't need to talk like this. That's why we want to receive, God's, word, how to do tribal messiahship, But for me, something, I don't understand what talking about. That's why I get, my time and then whatever I can speak. You can see when somebody speak and then someone, ask so many stupid questions, but nobody said, don't do like this. We are especially brothers and sisters. That's why whatever field, can speak. Anyway, I don't talk long time because,
Yeah.
I all the time, I spoke in front of altar. I give to, Father word, God's word, and then how to, lift up people's spiritual life, This is, if you give, God's word, they understand. If they understand, we don't need to push, our responsibility.
Okay, thank you so much. All right. Okay, so actually this whole topic of brothers and sisters and practicing, right, what we know, I think that's also sort of what Mr. Kondo is talking about, is exactly what I wanted to share. So thank you. All right, and then I also wanted to put this out there to stimulate your conscience, okay? Especially for those of you who tend to be procrastinators, okay, who haven't actually tried this out yet. Or if you're wondering whether you want to, my suggestion is to just forget about all your reservations and just go for it. And also kind of like what Mr. Kondo was saying, we have a conscience, and when the opportunity arises, then there's always a place where we can contribute and offer something of ourselves. And so, I wanted to just quote the amazing Mr. Rogers, who said, "Never underestimate the impact that your mere existence can have on another human being. There is something of yourself that you leave at every meeting with another person." So I am of the firm belief that those around us are not just randomly placed, that actually God has definitely intentionally brought the people around us together, and that it's really, it's not just for the sake of our own growth and deeper understanding, but actually it's a mutual thing. And it's really out of God's love that we have the people that we have around us. So, that's just a brief opener, okay? What I really wanted to talk about today was the importance of Trinities. And to start off, I just wanted to highlight the importance of the number 3, which I'm sure that we all see it, we all know it in our daily lives. But a couple of examples, right? In engineering, whenever a structure has a base of at least 3 points, then it becomes stable, right? Or architecture, or if you're building something, right? My children are into Legos. My 21-month-old daughter is always into building towers, but she just likes to build them straight up, and they always fall over. So I think she'll figure it out one of these days. Okay, next, in Christianity, we also have heard of the importance of the Trinity, right? The Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And even in the divine principle, we know of the basis of the 4-position foundation, or the most basic unity of harmony from which love, life, and lineage comes forth, right? It is our purpose of creation is the 4-position foundation, that actually you cannot have a 4-position foundation without origin, division, union, action, and the 3-object purpose. So that's a lot of vocab. If you're a little bit unfamiliar, or if you forgot, I just wanted to read a little bit from the divine principle to refresh everyone's memory about origin, division, union, action, and the three-object purpose. So from the divine principle it states, the process of God's creation begins when the dual characteristics within God form a common base through the prompting of his universal prime energy. As they engage in give and take action, they generate a force which engenders multiplication. This force projects the dual characteristics into discrete, substantial object partners, each relating to God as its center. These object partners to God then assume the position of subject partner and object partner to each other as they are prompted by the universal prime energy to form a common base, and they engage in give and take action, right? They then join together in one harmonious union to form now a new object partner to God. This whole process, in which out of God, the origin, two entities are separately manifested and united into oneness, is called origin, division, union, action. And as a result, four positions are formed. The origin at the center, the subject partner and the object partner, each substantial and distinct object partners to God, and their union. Any one of the four positions may assume the position of subject partner and engage the other three as its object partners, forming a communion of three object partners. When each of the four then acts as the subject partner and enters into give and take with the other three revolving around it, they fulfill the three object purpose, and actually in turn the four position foundation is created. So simply it shows here, right? One clear example is in the family where you have a God, and then you have man and woman representing the two aspects of God's feminine and masculine characteristics, and then their union, which actually creates a child, right? Okay. I also wanted to share some quotes by our true parents related to family trinities. You cannot walk the path of faith alone. You need comrades in faith. 3 people or more should unite. That's why you need a trinity. God, who is a subject partner of the human character, also desires the standard of 3. When we make mistakes, God cannot directly educate us vertically as individuals. But when 3 people are united, if one person makes a mistake, but the other 2 do not, God can point out that one person's mistake. The same goes for prayer in the mountains. You can receive God's grace faster if 3 or more people are praying together. After the prayer, you should discuss matters among yourselves, but if you discuss with people outside your trinity, Satan can invade. If 3 people can truly come to lean on each other, people around them will see those beautiful relationships and wish they too could have such relationships. When this happens, God's will can multiply naturally. If 3 people are united, then even if God does not help you, a new bud will sprout. When you relate with members, be careful not to hurt them and not say things that will hinder their life of faith. It's only when you feel the value of this God-given Trinity that you will understand God's ideal and will feel it enough that you can live your life in God's position here on earth. The purpose of forming Trinities is to create a unity of action, lifestyle, and thought. Actions rooted in faith are systematic and principled. And the ideal world of the future will be maintained through trinities of families. The purpose of creation is to realize the 4-position foundation. Since human beings first need to perfect the 4-position foundation, everyone first is to establish a family. Human beings resemble God, and society should resemble human beings whose center is God. I've been establishing the Unification Church in countries throughout the world. I know the whole world should become this way, and although I have not been able to inform everyone, the world will change through this principle. That world transcends nations and people. All right, so what's the whole point that I'm trying to emphasize today? We need trinities. And not only that, we need each other. Why? Because so many times in the past, while we have always been really good about fellowship and encouraging one another, we often didn't know how to deal with real issues, personally and in our families. And that meant that many of us had to take our problems and try to figure them out on our own, right? We might have been told at one point or another that prayer and hunnuke would be the answers to our issues, right? So recently, Pastor Abe pointed out to me that it's such a game changer, this whole awareness on pornography. Do you remember when Stephen Boitano came up here and was talking about how impactful it's been, kind of the way that our movement has responded towards the issue of pornography. From the widespread support of the National Conference in North Carolina to the forming of Pure Mind Online, right, spearheaded by John Williams and others, and then the creation of our own Brothers Support Group here in Bridgeport. As a movement, I feel like we're addressing some of our major issues, and we're doing it together as a community, and we're talking about it, right, which is important. So we need each other. We need each other for support, for overcoming our personal and family struggles, and also during life events, right, like birth. We've had 3 new babies born in our community in the last few weeks. Marriage, right? This month, October, is the love month, right? We've got a lot of different anniversaries that we're celebrating of blessings, and also of death. When those our loved ones pass away, right? We need each other to support each other, and also to get a glimpse of, hey, what is this life really about? And also to encourage each other as we go forward in our family lives and in our missions. So what is it that sometimes hinders us from really like intentionally loving, right, that sort of thing? One thing that I wanted to point out today is that it's our immaturity, really, right? And it doesn't matter how old we are, whether we're old or young. It's this unwillingness to continue to love when we feel like our love has not been reciprocated, right? That's one aspect of it that I want to point out. And for me personally, the group that I've often found to be the most challenging to work with has actually been my peers. Those who also grew up in our movement but have chosen to distance themselves from it. Those who often say that they feel estranged or they feel judged, and to me have become apathetic, right? And I know that we've all been there, how easy it is to just throw up our hands and be like, you know what, I'm trying to give to you, and you're just building this wall, right? Or how many times have, in the middle of, these feelings of mistrust or uneasiness, how many of us really want to be in that kind of situation, just want to plant yourself right in the middle of that? And I think ultimately, for me, I can sometimes too easily distance myself from my brothers and sisters because I'm simply frustrated because, I too have felt those feelings before, estranged or judged by our movement at one time or another, and even by other brothers and sisters of our faith. But for me, I felt like it didn't stop me from continuing to ask God where I could still contribute. And you know what I found? I actually realized that when I could stop and listen to my brothers and sisters and really understand their hearts, I realized that actually they're exactly in the same boat and they want to contribute just as much. It's really about finding our niche. And actually, it doesn't have to be in the confines of the institution of our movement. Do you agree? Right? So it doesn't have to look like something specific, like a position or something like that, or even, in the way that people present themselves. But the point here is that we need to connect with each other. That's really what it's about. It's not about, hey, what are you doing, right? It's really about understanding each other's hearts. And again, I'm going to quote Mr. Rogers. He says, frankly, there isn't anyone you couldn't learn to love once you've heard their story. Right? Think about that. if we all really knew each other's story, there's no way that we couldn't love each other. And then this is another one I'd like to. How sad it is that we give up on people who are just like us. Okay. All right. So for our blessed families, Trinities is something that has been re-emphasized again. So I know that we've heard that phrase before, especially when many of our elder members were starting their families, this idea of living together as Trinities, right? It meant something. You had to buy a house together. No, maybe not necessarily, but some people literally took it like that, right? And now, again, we're hearing this idea of Trinities and how it relates to tribal messiahship. But the point here is whether you're blessed or not, whether you are a blessed couple or whether you're not, right? We all need somebody that we can lean on, or a group of people that we can lean on. So whether you're a young person and your Trinity happens to be, the Slam Jam group, or your Cart brothers and sisters, or even your Ballroom Gala brothers and sisters, right? It's still just as vitally important as if you are a blessed couple and you're also forming a little group with 2 or 3 other families with you. It makes it, I just want to point out that it really makes tribal messiahship something that we can do, right? Again, tribal messiahship, this idea that we can intentionally love and give to other people and inspire other people by the teachings and the blessing of our true parents, right? It's something we can do when we put it in those kinds of terms. Everyone can contribute somewhere, and it starts with loving and giving conscientiously as one united family. And I just want to mention how happy I am to see the Boyd family and Josie Hauer and the Weatheralls working together this time. The 3 couples working together on the marriage course. For this second series, which we just started, we have 1 guest couple, right? So it's something that is growing and expanding. And that's something that, they have found is a passion that they can all share together. And they can all share the responsibilities together, right? And also the Brelands and the Giampalis, right, who've been continually investing in the Friday evening programs. Mr. Kirkley as well. Actually, Mrs. Breland, Keiko-san, and Mrs. Giampali, Atsuko-san, just came back from Las Vegas. They were, or not Las Vegas, Los Angeles, to check out how the witnessing efforts have been going over there. So hopefully, they brought back something and they can share with us sometime about that. So as I mentioned before, we have about 5 tribal Messiah Trinities. Okay, they're sort of like in all different levels of investment, right? Many of them are just testing out the waters, setting conditions, and trying to understand, what is it that our little group, our little family group is passionate about, and what is it that we share, and how can we move forward and reach out to other people that way. So, if this is something that you are inspired about and interested in, then we have actually a great opportunity coming up in the next couple of weekends. It's the We Can Do It workshop, right? Damien Dunkley is coming to Bridgeport, and it's not just a workshop to get us riled up and excited. It's actually meant to give us the tools to actually do something in our tribal messiahship for the next 3 months. So be wary. Actually, what you're signing up for is actually a 3-month commitment. It's not just a weekend. But actually, that makes it really exciting to me. That sounds really exciting. And again, of course, this is mostly geared towards blessed couples. But if you're not blessed and you have a definite interest in understanding more about tribal messiahship and supporting your family as well, like your parents on this mission that we all have, then you're more than welcome to come also. So usually with the Vision Sundays, I like to have like an activity and make it really interactive. And at one point, I thought maybe we could make little cards for each other. Anyway, that sort of flopped. By like 6 p.m. last night, I was like, no, that's not going to work. So I decided that the action step that I would like to implore all of you is to register. Okay, register for the We Can Do It workshop. And actually, Damien Dunkley has put together a little personal video for our group, and I just wanted to share it with you.
Hey guys, it's Damien here, and I'm the Director of Evangelism for National Headquarters USA, and I want to help you build your tribe. Now, True Parents have given us an amazing amount of blessings, and they look at each of us as world-level leaders. We've also got this incredible opportunity to do tribal messiahship, but for many of us, we feel like we just can't do it. And that's for some pretty simple reasons often. Some of us are still kind of wondering what tribal messiahship is, and how do I do it? Who do I do it with? What's expected of me? Where are the resources available to support my tribal messiahship? How do I bring people to the blessing? And are they then joining our church? What is a church member? All these kinds of questions and many more tend to slow us down or stop us from having a strong faith in our mission. So if you feel called to bring a victory through tribal messiahship, even if it means changing some of the ways in which we might do things, then this seminar is for you. So the first thing we want to do is just check in with each other. How are we doing? What are some of the specific problems that might be stopping our community from doing tribal messiahship really successfully? Also, we want to look at what resources and tools are already available to support us in this mission. And finally, we want to set some goals, some inspiring goals that are achievable, but things that we can do together and measure progress over time so that we can feel momentum and we can feel excited about our mission together. Okay, guys, like everything else, this is a journey. We're pioneering. We don't know what's going to happen next. But what we do know is that together we can do it. So I hope you can come. I'm really looking forward to working with you.
And then if we could just go to my last slide, I just want to leave everyone with this final quote by our True Parents. It says, "Love your brothers and sisters in the church as you love God. Your path to heaven begins there. You love and follow me, yet I tell you, you should strive to love and help your brothers and sisters and work alongside them with the same heart. Those who can teach you the quickest and the best way to go to heaven are neither God nor I, but your brothers and sisters. If you strive to love them with a love greater than their love for their parents or spouse, you will be chosen as a supreme subject partner of love." How about we all rise? And I'm going to say a quick prayer, and the band's going to come on up here. Or a few members. Okay, please join me in prayer. Our dearest, most beloved Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, good morning. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be together. It's so nice to see some new faces in the audience and people that I haven't seen in a while. Heavenly Parent, these are our brothers and sisters. These are our aunts and uncles. These are our nieces and nephews. We're really one family because you are our parent, and our true parents have really brought us all together. I pray that we can really feel that in our bones, and if we can't feel that, then we can really search within ourselves to understand what is it that hinders us so much from really being able to love and to receive love from others. It's a process every day, all the time, and sometimes it's so easy to shut ourselves off, to binge watch Netflix or to play video games or any other way of looking at a screen. But I pray so much, Heavenly Parent, that we can really understand deeply where we're at, really love ourselves first, and then really seek to do what you are calling each and every one of us to do. It doesn't look the same. It's not going to be the same for every person. And we can't compare ourselves in that way. We can't judge others in that way. And but as Damien Dunkley said, it's a journey, and it's a beautiful one. And I pray that we can really be appreciative of this life here on earth and the beauty that you give us all around us. And I pray to offer all these things in all of our names, and in the names of Abraham and Mika, Deshotel, blessed our family. Adieu.